to TNA for a little while, kind of developed that character a little bit more, and then coming back in with this EC3 character, it helped round him out.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of took, when he left, he was kind of, what happens to a lot of guys, kind of just treading water.
Yeah.
And he left and got a chance with another company where they really kind of gave him a direction and a character and just let him go. And it's done wonders for him. Like, I liked him as Bateman, but I like this EC3 thing. And I'm really intrigued to see where it goes, because I felt like they kind of held him back or didn't let him show as much in the ladder. I don't know if they were trying to focus on some other stuff. But I felt like he kind of got lost in the shuffle.
Well, and hopefully they just kind of held him back from a ladder match of like, yeah, it's a ladder match. We're going to have his name in it, but we can't let him get injured right now.
Yeah.
So hopefully that's all it was.
Yeah.
It's good to see WWE also allowing people to keep their characters, and they're not buying or not creating a new character. Like Samoa Joe, I think, was the first one that really they allowed in the newest incarnation
since Punk.
Since Punk, exactly. But I mean, since NXT really was a big building brand, Samoa Joe was the first one they allowed to keep their name. And it's surprising you don't see it with they changed Kevin Owens' name, they changed Generico's name, and those were a little bit
signed.
Yeah, right.
Be cool.
But
he's running an orphanage in Mexico.
It's cool that they're allowing these characters to continue so they can build on a brand they've already created.
For sure.
It's making WWE's job easier.
Yeah.
Well, sidebar, don't those guys copyright their stuff before they go in?
If they're smart.
Okay.
If I remember hearing right, before that's kind of the reason Abyss and Delirious never went, because they wanted to own that image and that incarnation of that character, and they didn't want to give it up. So that's kind of the reason those two guys, when they were in their prime, never went.
Yeah.
Is because that WWE wanted to own that. And I think they're starting to realize, like, okay, these guys are building a brand, so maybe they have this, X amount of X people who don't watch WWE. They're strictly, independent fans or whatever you want to call it. Well, hell, if I have Kevin Steen or Kevin Owens or, these guys come over and they see that name and it's that name recognition, oh, well, now I have to watch it.
Yeah.
And that's why their WWE Network hit 2 million subscribers over the weekend.
Yeah. Well, I think they're starting...
free.
Well, I
You got WrestleMania free.
I think they're starting to realize that they've kind of got to change business up to include more stuff. Like, WWE's not hurting by any means.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think they understand to kind of be the monopoly that they want to be. They've got to let some other things go and realize that trying to get every cent out of this one guy is like, all right, let him have his name, and move on.
I think it's two things. Going back to your every cent, they're going to make that money back that they could have bought the name with on the back end with merch.
For sure.
I would buy more, if I had kids, I would buy more merch that said AJ Styles, because I've been a fan of him since I can remember, and I've shared locker rooms with him, than I would if they renamed him, because, it's not the same.
Yeah.
You don't want none.
Yeah. And I also think it's just kind of showing the changing of the guard with behind the scenes and who's running and that stuff we won't get into. But I think it's really starting to... He has his finger on the pulse of kind of what works with bringing in these other talents, and the other one kind of just has his finger on the pulse of what you see Monday and Tuesdays and on pay-per-views.
Absolutely.
And I think it's just the changing of the guard there.
Yeah. Now
that's the EC3 part of the ladder match. Let's get into the rest of the gentlemen.
Because we don't want to do, say, 30 minutes on each match, so we'll try and rein it in a little bit. We're already sitting at a half hour now, so we'll.
That's it. It really feels like longer.
So we'll round out the ladder match. My favorite spot had to be the spot, I believe it was Lars Sullivan climbing the rope or climbing the ladder.
The one your wife referred to as a cat spot?
Oh my god.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
The kitty cat spot. Lars Sullivan's climbing the ladder for the belt, and where the camera was, you're like, oh my god, nobody's getting in the ring, nobody's going to stop him. he's about halfway up the ladder, and then out of nowhere, off the right side of the screen, you see Ricochet springboard and latch onto his back like a kitty cat that just jumped from behind a potted plant and got their ankle and like takes him down the ground. I lost my mind.
No, he didn't take him down. That ladder collapsed.
Yeah, I started giggling like a little girl. But that had to be. I'm a big fan of the comedic wrestling spots, so that had to be a high point for me. Johnny, you got one?
I really have a couple. I really think that they gave people who don't know who Ricochet is enough of Ricochet to want to be interested and invested. That man almost died on that first springboard shooter. I was really worried. And really just Velveteen Dream dropping, 5 elbows? And then the last one from the top of the ladder.
Yeah.
And just, this man has you don't see him on NXT TV a lot, but this man has toured up with Aleister Black. He got injured in that match. But this man's 22 and his selling is on par. Like every time he hit an elbow, he sold the whole time to the next one to give the guys time. And then kind of just it was that Jeff Hardy remnants of puts him down, sees the ladder, puts it up, climbs the ladder, and people are like, and the commentators did a great job of like, oh, he's going for the belt. No, he's too far. What the hell is he doing? Yeah. And then just hits that giant final elbow on Lars to kind of put him down. Was just, I really enjoyed that, and I really feel Adam Cole was the right guy to give the belt to for that,
sure.
And that's just how I feel.
For sure.
Very like Dolph Ziggler-esque wrestler, but he's black, so.
Yeah, but if anything, he's come a long way from Tough Enough.
Yeah.
Velveteen Dream, so I'm happy with the progress. Ryan?
I think my favorite spot, where they were tilting the ladder and Ricochet moonsaulted.
Yeah.
That's the one I was gonna say as well.
Yeah.
And that's why I hate taking someone else's. But and then the other spot was Dream. He did all the elbows, did the elbows, but then he did was it like the gimmick thing on the
Kryptonite Crunch?
Yeah, Kryptonite Crunch on top of the ladder and then fell off. Like that was just so awesome.
Oh yeah. I know what they built the tower and then wedged it and kind of that build.
Yeah.
He almost died in that because he kind of lost his footing and stuff.
Yeah.
Some people say Kryptonite Crunch. That's their Pepsi, or Emerald Fusion.
That's
their
Coca-Cola. That's the other one.
That's their
There
Coca-Cola. So if anything, Steven, you want to take? You can have Ricochet doing the moonsault off the ladder, and then Ryan can have the Kryptonite Crunch.
Yeah, that's where we're at.
We're a tag team.
There we go.
Now we're gonna go over our picks and.
Yeah.
What was your favorite spot in the match too?
Oh yeah.
My favorite spot in the match was
the
you said
spot.
the cat.
I was the one that got the ball rolling on that.
He's
one.
a fan of pussycats.
I love kitties. Such a fan of the kitties.
Another really cool one, and it was kind of a callback, was
And here's a half hour.
no, just Adam Cole hitting all the super kicks, and then I don't know if people caught it.
It was a party.
It was a party.
Yeah.
But then he
Such a
hit
party.
Ricochet with the Bullet Club gimmick before he smoked him with a super
I
kick.
didn't see that.
Coming off the springboard. It was real quick.
Awesome.
Yeah. So let's see. We also on Twitter we went through and we made picks.
Predictions, if you might.
We had predictions for not only TakeOver, but WrestleMania, and for NXT. Let's see if I can bring it up.
I remember who I picked, so
I'll say
I
I was the wiener that night.
You were. Yeah, you were. Okay, so
Yeah, but I won the one that mattered.
Oh,
yeah,
hey,
yeah, Mister. I want to go to NXT because it's the one that matters more. But then you said that Mania matters more.
No, in our competition. I tried to be nice and tell Brandon, let's add up the whole
He's 19 beers in.
weekend total.
Right.
20 and a half. Get it right.
All right. So let's
You're
see.
going to make me sound like a drunk. Give me a bigger number.
I don't need to do that.
My words aren't slurring that bad yet.
Yeah.
All right. So Steven, you picked Adam Cole Pro on Twitter, Adam Cole Bebe in real life, to win the ladder match, and he did. So you were the first one to score a point out of the predictions.
What made you go with Adam?
Did I pick Adam Cole?
No,
for the first
you
one?
you picked.
I picked EC3 for the first one.
Yeah,
this
'cause
is
you
my
said
only one.
Ricochet
This is my
wouldn't.
only one I got wrong.
That's right. That's right.
I wanted to say Ricochet, but it was a ladder match that could promote his crash and burn style that I didn't think he would win, obviously.
Why don't we just, instead of you looking up the results, just go around and then we'll say who we picked and why.
I had Ricochet.
I had EC3 just because I was going off of kind of what his persona that I'm used to seeing is, and it would make sense in kind of how he came out and was like, oh, thank you for giving the title, and da-da-da-da. And then he would kind of prove that, you should have just gave it to me anyway, instead of making me embarrass all these 5 other dudes.
Right.
And just kind of how his persona is.
Yeah.
I picked Velveteen because I think it would be good to start the title on a face. It's always good to have a heel champ because then you got a face, chasing it.
Hey! He's supposed to be a heel, bro.
Velveteen?
Yeah.
I didn't catch that at
He's
all.
supposed to be a heel. It might be the fan turn.
There's
but
that Dolph Ziggler again.
He's supposed to be a heel
talented.
where he's that cocky. His feud with Alistair, the whole thing was making Alistair say his name, and he's just cutting these promos. And he's supposed to be a heel.
Well,
but I see where you're coming from.
So yeah, that was why I picked it. Yeah.
Steven?
I also picked EC3 for that match because I thought that he was a good pick for projecting and building a new title. I mean, from his past in TNA and everything else. So.
Yeah, and
why did you pick Ricochet?
Oh, I picked Ricochet just because. Same thing. I thought it would be nice to start it off on a face, and kind of like welcome it in. Maybe have him hold it for a very short amount of time, and then a heel snag it right off. Like, all right, you didn't hold that very long. Then begins the chase.
For sure.
And I feel like Ricochet is one of those wrestlers that can take a beating and still find a way to kind of cinch up a win in the end and surprise everybody and provide a pretty entertaining match. So I felt like while he had the belt, he would not only defend it, but have fun with it.
Yeah.
So that's what I wanted to see. Sure. And so none of our picks won that match. So that match was a wash. So we move on to the women's match. The women's match was Ember Moon, who is the current women's champion for NXT, against Shayna Baszler.
Yep.
And it was unanimous. We all had Shayna Baszler.
I'll just kind of continue what we've been... I picked Baszler, sorry.
You drunk?
Yep. I just feel that they're ready to move Ember up, and I think they're kind of going with that. Baszler's kind of their big bully heel is what they're trying to build her as. So, Ember was doing the fighting for the little guy when Baszler was picking on like Dakota Kai and all these other people. So I just think they're just ready to call Ember up, and Baszler's just kind of who they want to go with and have it on a heel finally. Maybe Ember will get that rematch, but then you can have they'll go back to Kairi Sane and give a throwback to the Mae Young Classic and all of that. So it's just a good transition to get Kairi in there and in the title picture and all of that.
Yeah, kind of the same thing. It's time to call up Ember. She's been the champion for a while now. And then Baszler has done amazing in her time down there. And just with the UFC background and Ronda Rousey debuting, it's a good time to really get that involved, I think.
That's kind of where my pick was on it, with Rousey debuting the next night and everything.
Yeah.
Like it'd be just a go-to on that aspect. And like I said, and you all said it as well. Ember's going to be pulled up sooner than later here. So.
Yeah, for sure. With the way that match though ended, I don't know if Ember's coming up right now. I think they're still in the middle of their story.
It'll be one of those. In the next set of tapings, she'll get a rematch, and that'll be kind of her big go home. Or she could be on the main roster while still chasing and doing the rematch. I just think they're ready to call her up, and it's a smart way to call her up. Like she's gonna get the little girls. She has that fun look, but that also kind of I'll whoop your ass look.
Yeah.
Like she can still do some stuff. She's super athletic.
Her fun look hopefully is gonna transcend into the WWE product. Unlike Bayley's, who got up there, you should have seen her excel, and it just kind of died.
She's kind of just
yeah. So Ember has that. I think that it's still gonna show.
Yeah. Then.
And Baszler won that, by the way.
Yeah, Baszler did win, so we all got a point, which still kind of left the ranking at a wash since we were all at 1.
Yeah.
Moving on to the triple threat tag match,
God
which was not only for to decide the winner of the Dusty Rhodes